Hello, you're listening to Otaku Spirit Animecast. My name is Andrew, and I'm joined here with Chris.
Yo.
Are you ready, Chris? It is time for the Winter 2022 anime season preview.
Yes and no.
The future.
Are we in the future?
No, and yes and no. What is the no for? Because Mushoku Tensei ends?
Pretty much.
Because Miracle-chan ends?
That last episode I had so many mixed feelings about.
You got mixed feelings about it?
Yeah.
Oh, is it controversial to you?
No, I'm more along the lines of just things that happened that I don't know. I was sad and happy, and there was, like I said, a lot of mixed feelings about it.
Every episode. Every episode's like that, pretty much.
Not as intensely as this episode, honestly.
Well, that's for later. That's for later. We have to talk about the next season, where Mushoku Tensei will not be, unfortunately. But yeah, as always, we like to jump into our following season to let people know about what's coming up, so you guys can make decisions and plan ahead to make sure that you're not missing out on any shows. It's always a lot of fun to go through this stuff. Give you the title of the show, give you a quick synopsis, who's working on it, some insights into possibly some interesting people that might be in the background working on the actual project itself, and then let you guys know what our thoughts on things like the PV and stuff like that. So it's always a lot of fun, always interesting. Definitely one of the more popular of our episodes out there. So definitely hope you guys appreciate all the work that put into this. If you do, definitely let other people know about the episode. Let other people know about us. Subscribe to the channel, our YouTube channel and whatnot. Hit that like button on the YouTube channel as well. That helps the algorithms and everything like that. So, but yeah, we should jump right into it because we have a lot of stuff to come into. Apparently, it is a terrible season because there's a lot of isekais.
Oh, yeah?
Like a total of 6, Chris. I watched a certain other person's content and they were just ranting and raving about how many isekais, and I'm like, there's only 6. Then I caught myself like, I just said there's only 6. Technically, I think like 2 or 3 of them are like, returning shows. So for new shows, not that many. There's a lot of gender swap shows, which is odd. We don't usually get gender swap shows.
Really?
I mean, it's been a while.
It's been a long time since the last time I've seen one of those.
So that's an interesting little tidbit. But yeah, without further ado, let's jump into it because there's a lot to go through. And it's going to be fun. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Starting things off, it's a little bit of a deja vu here. We have a returning show. We usually typically start with a new series, and then we get into the shows that are kind of returning for another season, as well as the shorts and OVAs, so keep that in mind. But yeah, I joke because it technically isn't returning, it's trying again, which is World End Harem, or Shimatsu no Harem. This one is The Time is Near, Future Tokyo, Japan 2040. Raito, a young man suffering from an intractable disease, vows to reunite with his childhood friend Erisa and decides to go to cold sleep to cure her illness. I thought he was cold sleeping. I guess they're both cold sleeping. When he wakes up 5 years later, the world has undergone a major transformation. The MK, or male killer virus, kills 99.9% of males on the planet. The ground was a super harem with 5 billion women for every 5 men. So exciting. Again, I think we talked about this last time, but I think that synopsis is a little messed up because that's a lot of women. That's like 25 billion women. But I guess it is 2040, so maybe they just, procreated a lot of women, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, the studio is still Axis and Studio Gokomi. I checked to make sure. It looks like they're still listing those same two studios, even though, again, they technically did have this delayed because of production issues, so they say. So, yeah, the source is a manga. The genres are ecchi, sci-fi. The director is Yu Nobuta, who's also doing Paladin currently right now. Faraway Paladin currently. Has also done High School Fleet and Kuma 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 Bear, as well as Maisetsu. The series composition is being done by Tatsuya Takahashi, who is also currently doing Faraway Paladin, Idolmaster, Cinderella Girls, Domestic Girlfriend, Beatless, and Eromanga Sensei. And it will be streaming on Crunchyroll. So, excited to try this again?
Actually, finally be able to watch the first episode. I technically just went ahead and skipped it because
they never posted it.
They never. Okay,
I had to find it elsewhere.
Yeah, I never did actually watch the first episode, so I'm actually kind of glad. Hopefully we can actually get into this show, because I was kind of excited about it last time. I'm excited about it this time as well.
Yeah, of course, the interesting thing that came around this, and I made a video on this specifically, kind of airing my speculations on this whole situation, because the weird thing that happened was that before it aired in Japan, and before it aired in the West, they canceled it, or they postponed it. And then they later said, we're waiting until the next season. So what I proposed in my video when I talked about this particular show was, okay, wait and see if the first episode or the second episode is significantly changed from the source material to cover up things, then we can possibly have an issue with Crunchyroll. So that was my speculation at the time. So I'm not saying that actually happened. It seemed very convenient that the moment that it was being sent over to the West, they suddenly had, oh, wait, production issues. You usually know about production issues well before the episode actually airs in Japan. So again, speculation. We'll wait and see if anything significant. It doesn't really seem like that, blatant of a source material from what I've seen. So I don't necessarily think that's going to be 100% true. Like I said, it was a speculation. So we'll see. Because it was one of those things where, why Crunchyroll? Why did you license this? This is one of those ones you leave to High Dive. Well, now I say that because Crunchyroll is a part of, Sony and Funimation. So, but we'll see. We'll see. It seems like a nice. It seems like hentai material, but we'll see if it has a solid story to go with it. Moving on. We have My Dress Up Darling, or Sono Bisque Doll wa Koi wo Suru. This one is traumatized by a childhood incident with a friend who, I don't know why I have the trailer for World's End Harem still up on the screen. It's distracting me with the harem stuff. Anyways, traumatized by a childhood incident with a friend who took exception to his love of traditional dolls, doll artisan hopeful Gojo Wakana passes his days as a loner, finding solace in a home ec room at his high school. To Wakana, people like beautiful Kitagawa Marin, a trendy girl who's always surrounded by throngs by a throng of friends, is practically an alien from another world. But when cheerful Marin, never one to be shy, spots Wakana sewing away one day after school, she barges in with the aim of roping her quiet classmate into a secret hobby, cosplay. Will Wakana's wounded heart be able to handle the invasion from the sexy alien? What a stupid synopsis. I love this PV. Like, everything about this PV looks great. That synopsis just kind of ruined it with that, especially that last line. The sexy alien? It's like, it seemed like a really solid, cute, like, slice of life kind of thing, and that just kind of ruined it. So we'll see. It might be exactly what the doctor orders. So
I can't wait for this one. I have been so excited about it. I think we talked about it on one of our discussionals. This is easily one of my most anticipated, probably, of the season, and I can't wait to start watching the show. It gives me all kinds of shoujo vibes of several shows that I really, really like, and I like I said, I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, what's interesting is it's got an interesting style to it. Like, it's very sharp lines in it, which I thought is one of the things that kind of stand out to me a lot. There's typically like a difference in how different anime have their linings for the characters. Like, sometimes they're very thick lines, sometimes they're just kind of sketched lines. This one has like very sharp but very thin lines to it. So it's a very interesting choice. But yeah, overall it looks really good visually. My big question mark I'm raising right now, and I'll be raising it for 3 other shows that we're going to talk about, is this is Cloverworks. And Cloverworks has done a lot of fantastic stuff recently, but they've also had a lot of production issues. Ow. She's hit her head.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of production issues lately. And so it does worry me a lot that this is one of 3 Cloverworks titles that will be this season. And I think one other one, maybe 2 other ones, I think are originals. So I hope this one gets the quality and attention that it needs. it looks like based off the PV, there's a lot of content already done for it. So my big hope is that they've pre-established a lot of content so that they don't get behind schedule later on. But we'll see. Because this one is technically one that I'm extremely excited for. It kind of reminds me of Smile Down the Runway, but with them actually paying attention to the female character. My issue that I had with Smile Down the Runway was that it pretty much was started about this girl and who was the model, and then it switched to, hey, here's the guy that does the actual outfits, and then just stuck with him for like pretty much the rest of the show, and just completely ignore the female lead. So hopefully this is one that just kind of does a really solid balance, if not just more of the girl, because she is cute. So yeah, super excited for this one. Has some great art in it. I don't think this PV specifically has the Kuroneko part. That's shocking. I know that was one big part, wasn't it? Doesn't she wear like a Kuroneko outfit with the purple hair? I don't remember.
Possibly.
It's this one, isn't it?
It's very possible. I mean, she's cosplaying, so
I'm pretty sure this is the one. But yeah, looks great. I haven't actually seen anything on the side character, so that'll be interesting. Yeah, she has a Kuroneko outfit. That'd be great. That'd be great. Looking forward to that one. Additionally, genres are seinen, by the way, and I think probably slice of life as well in there, probably comedy. Source is a manga, and yeah, like I said, Cloverworks is working on it, which I am concerned about just because of how much they're doing. But we'll see. But yeah, that's my dress up darling. If I forget to say the title of the show again before I go to the next one, yell at me. Don't actually yell because it'll get in the microphone, but you know what I mean. Moving on, let's get into some BL. Are you excited for some BL, Chris?
Maybe
some exciting. Maybe, yeah. That's a good one. Sasaki and Miyano, or Sasaki to Miyano. This one is Miyano spends his days peacefully reading boys love comics and worrying about how girly his face is until a chance encounter leads to a scuffle with his senior Sasaki. Intrigued by his feisty junior, Miyano, delinquent Sasaki uses every opportunity he can to get closer. Oh, it's going to be one of those ones. It's going to be one of those ones. And to be perfectly clear, I have the same issue with Yuri as I do with the BL stuff. Is that whole aspect that one doesn't want the attention and the other one keeps pushing themselves until they realize they need it. It seems like a very overly used thing that technically makes... That was the reason why... What was that one Yuri that was here recently that we actually enjoyed? It didn't do that. And I really appreciate that. Just let the characters blossom. Don't make one force the other one to realize that they like them.
Well, they probably just don't have as much... I hate to say it this way, but they don't have. They do have a exploration of or they try to explore their feelings, but the problem is that they never have a consequence to bring the characters together. Like this one, they're as much of their consequence of bringing them together as BL books. I mean, and bumping into each other. So it really comes down to what are you giving the characters as a motivation to bring them together? And unfortunately, I'm not seeing a lot of that in the synopsis. So hopefully, I mean, when it comes down to it, it has more than what's right here.
Yeah, Bloomin' to You was what I was thinking about. Also, that one that was here recently, the other one that was a name to MAME. That one technically had the same thing where it just kind of happenstance they had a relationship. It wasn't a thing where, like I said, one's just overly aggressive until it kind of accepts it. So I'm making an assumption here. It could be more casual, and I'm just making it into something based on the synopsis. So we'll see. But yeah, studio that's working on it is Studio Dean. Good luck, Dean. You're always hit and miss. I don't think Dean's ever going to live up Fate Stay Night. I don't think they'll ever live up that one. Sources of manga, genres are boys love and slice of life. The director working on it is Shinji Ishihara, who is known for doing Fairy Tail, Log Horizon, and Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy. So solid director on it. So that'll probably help it. But we'll see. Sasaki and Miyano. Check that out if that's interesting to you. Moving on. There's another one that's probably been kind of a one that we've been anticipating for quite a while, and that is Love of Kill. Two assassins face off. The cool bounty hunter Chateau. Is it Chateau? Chateau. And the mysterious and powerful Riangha. Chateau and Riangha. Please don't make me say the names over and over again. have become enemies after this fight. At least they should have. But for some reason, one of them takes a liking to the other and begins following her around. Little by little, one develops a cooperative partnership with the other, which gets her caught up in a struggle against organizations hunting him down. Furthermore, the battle is related to her past as well. Two mismatched assassins weave together a twisted assassin x assassin thriller, or cross assassin. The strange gears of fate begin to move. So they fight each other, and then one pretty much betrays their company over the other. Is that what I'm getting from the synopsis?
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, there you go. It's just Romeo and Juliet. Studio Platinum Vision really hasn't done much besides Devil's Line, Stop This Sound, and Dr. Ramune. So hopefully, that's a struggle for me. Source is a manga. Genres are action, romance. Director is Hideaki Oba, who has been around for a long time and done a lot of children's anime. So definitely somebody who has a lot of experience. So hopefully that will help them here. The unfortunate thing is that because it's a lot of children's stuff, I don't really know any of them. So I just know that he's been around for a long time and done a lot of directorial work, just nothing that I typically would watch. So hopefully this is a good shift for them and a solid title they can take on. So we'll see. Are you excited for this one?
Nope.
No? Why? You don't like Romeo and Juliet? Too violent? What?
I don't know. It just doesn't really call to me. I mean, it looks good. The concept is interesting, but when it comes down to it, I mean, I will give it a shot. I definitely will. But
get it shot.
Yeah, there's that. I totally went for that.
I think it looks solid. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see how it turns out. Like I said, the only thing that I'm really kind of question marking is the studio, which every studio has the opportunity to have that, standout title. So we'll give them a shot. Hopefully they can pull it off. But yeah, it's. I
went down the whole Asterisk Isekai, and I'm enjoying that a whole lot. So it's not like just because it's violent, I'm staying away from it completely.
Asterisk Isekai,
Assassin.
That's not dark.
I guess
that's not dark.
I know that's kind of what I was pointing out. It's not as dark. That's why I've been talking about the other
darker
one.
than that.
I guess.
Love of a Kill. Check that out if that's interesting to you. Moving on. Let's get into some isekais. This is what Chris is looking for. This is what Chris has come here for. He's like, are we doing a podcast today? I'm like, yes. He's like, is there isekais in it? I'm like, yes. He's like, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. I want some isekais.
I don't remember this conversation, but we'll go with it.
I don't know this one's isekai. This one might not
It's
be
adorable.
isekai.
I'm already on board.
I don't know. I don't think this one's isekai, actually. We'll see. The Genius Prince's Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt. Definitely not how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom. This is Genius Prince's Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt. Tensai Ojo. Oh, I'm sorry, Ojo. Tensai Oji no Akashi Koka Seisei Jutsu. Now, it's great if you guys are watching the YouTube version of this, you'll actually have like the names of the titles on the screen. So if I butcher things, you don't have to worry. If I remember to put the things on the actual video. The prince of this small and weak kingdom strives for only one thing: selling out his country and living a quiet life in leisure. Sadly, the greatest obstacle he will ever face is his own genius. As he achieves ever greater accomplishments, he earns more and more favor with his people of his kingdom, which makes fulfilling his own dreams all that harder. This one's being done by Yokohama Animation Labs, who's pretty much only done Miru Tights, Tawa on Mondays 2, and Lapis Relights, so not much under the belt. The source is a light novel. The genres are comedy fantasy. The series composition is being done by Hitomi Miyano, who has done a crap ton of really great titles. It will be streaming on Funimation, and the exciting thing is that one of the seiyus is Ryu Kojima. I'm excited for that one.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. So you excited?
Oh, definitely. Characters are cute. Unfortunately,
it's not an isekai. I know. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I wasn't saying that. The PV is really, really short. I definitely am not feeling like I got very much out of that. But the characters are adorable. I'm definitely very interested in it. Love the concept, but like we said before, that's a just a recipe to get me hooked into the idea of it.
Yeah, I think my only big beef is the PV didn't really sell me on the main character, and I don't know that I'm going to like the main character. Not that it's bad for him to be the way he is, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like he's likable for a reason. It's literally how he is. So I don't know. That's going to be my struggle. My struggle is going to be the main character. If he turns out to be interesting, do you see those developments happen in him? Or is he just a jerk the whole time, but every now and then goes, oh, I guess I don't want to do this. I kind of like this thing. I guess I'm not that mean. I don't know. That's going to be my struggle.
Watch, he's going to be one of those that actually just wants to be lazy, so he's a genius to get things done so that he can be lazy. Just wait. I'm waiting for that.
Well, that's what the synopsis technically says, but it is one of those things where does his laziness affect others in negative ways? The aspect of him wanting to sell out his kingdom in order to get that leisure that he seeks, is it going to cut into other people? I doubt it, but that's technically what the synopsis says is his goal, is to sell out everything in order to have an easy life. So we'll see. And I guess additionally, we'll see if this turns out to be an isekai, because nothing so far indicates that it's an isekai other than it looking like an isekai. So we'll see if Chris would actually like it. If it's not isekai, then it's not going to be good. So, but yeah, that's the Genius Prince's Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt. Look forward to that. Moving on. We have the strongest sage with the weakest crest. This one is Shikakumon no Saikyo Kinja. This one is his strength limited by the magic crest with which he was born. Matthias, the world's most powerful sage, decides reincarnation is necessary to become the strongest of all. Upon his rebirth as a young boy, Matthias is thrilled to discover he's been born with the optimal crest for magical combat on his first try. Unfortunately, the worlds he's been born into has abysmally poor standards when it comes to magic, and everyone thinks he's still marked for failure. Now it's up to Matthias to prove everyone wrong, world's strongest sage style. So it's not isekai. There's number 2 Andrew thought was isekai, but it's not actually isekai, so there you go. Congratulations, we're moving away from that stuff. I actually technically prefer this, because this is where it's not taking, modern time person into this other world. It's just them, kind of resetting in that world. That way they can still relearn things, but it's not from our perspective like it's typically. So kind of keeping it pure fantasy. So that's good. Kind of reminding me of something like, what was the Demon School? The world's strongest demon school, something like that. Reincarnated world's strongest demon school. So, yeah. Studio is JC Staff. They've done Toradora, Danmachi, Golden Time, Food Wars, and Sakurasao. The source is a light novel. The genres are action, adventure, fantasy. The director working on this one is Noriyaki Akitaya, who did Cast on Dandelion, Active Raid, Are You the Only One Who Loves Me? And the series composition by Hiroki Uchida, who's done Merc Storia and Gamers. So, interesting there. What are your thoughts?
Interesting concept. I like the idea of the character just basically reincarnating himself into the next version of himself, so that he can continue to basically get stronger. So I do like that concept. It's interesting. He can, if hopefully he has his memories from the past so that he can continue to just better himself. So yeah, I like that idea.
Red-haired pigtail girl. I hope she's tsundere. I love her brief scene that we've had of her where she's literally just holding on to somebody's sword. So hopefully she's awesome and tsundere. Yeah, we'll see. I kind of find, even with the pigtail girl, the designs are kind of bland, but we'll see. I don't think it's really the character designs themselves. I think it's just the art style itself seems very bland. It doesn't really pop out. So, yeah, like I said, I agree with you. I technically do like the concept of reincarnation into the same, I guess, setting, rather than it being, like I said before, an isekai or something like that. Just breaking out of the molds and going pure fantasy is something I've always kind of desired when it comes to isekais. Not that I have a problem with isekais, so we'll see. And JC staff is solid, so hopefully it's got some solid animation to it. It seems like they're doing a decent job with the PV, not trying too hard, but just enough to keep it kind of flowing. But yeah, we'll see. The strongest sage with the weakest crest, which is odd because it literally establishes that he has the strongest crest after he's reincarnated. So it's like it titles it for what he was.
The world thinks it's the weakest crest. He actually knows that it's the strongest.
Well, they just say that magical combat itself is weak, is what they think. Unless I guess there's crest, possibly crest for swordsmanship and stuff like that, so they think it's weak still. And that's true. There you go. Moving on, we have, she professed herself pupil of the wise man. Here's our first, I think, the gender swaps. We have Kinja no Dashi wo Nanoru Kinja. The PV threw me off because I seen the login screen. I'm like, wait, what is YouTube making me log in? Going by the name Dunboff. He's known across the land of this virtual world, but one night before bed, Kagami uses an in-game vanity case that's about to expire, opting to create his ideal version of a female Dunboff avatar for fun. Waking up, he's surprised to find he's now in the body of the avatar he created the night before, and he'll have to work his way from the bottom up. So he's a young dude playing an old dude, who is now playing a young girl, who is still that old dude. There you go. I guess what it's meaning by that last part is that he's a dude that normally plays an old character, but now he's in the body of a little girl. So, there you go. Studio A-Cat, who's literally only done Frame, Arm Girl, and Tamayomi. So, good luck, studio. I think they've done a lot of other stuff, just not their own production. So, source is a light novel, genres are adventure fantasy. Director is Keitaro Motonaga, who did Katanagatari, Day Day Live, Ray Earth, and a lot more. Streaming, it will be on Funimation already. So, good stuff. Interesting idea there, I guess.
I'm actually kind of in this weird spot with this one. I was really excited about this, but I'm actually really kind of concerned. I was thinking it was going to be kind of him just reincarnating in the new character. Now, the fact that it was an online game doesn't bother me that much, but I'm wondering if he's going to be stuck in this female character, or I missed that when you were reading it, so forgive me.
Wakes up inside the body of the avatar he just created.
So he is actually stuck there now.
Stuck in a video game. Yeah.
Okay. That was what I was kind of wondering about. It was because I do know that when we had talked about it, it was going from the great sage to the new character, and I was excited about it. So hopefully that does actually transpire. So
oh yeah. Yuck. CGI goblins. Oh yuck.
But as it stands right now, I'm pretty excited about it.
I suddenly don't like this show. It's the ugly CGI goblins. Why? Just draw them. They're not even on the screen very long. I guess it could be like a lot of them for a lot of segments. So gross. Just just gross. Yeah, there's a lot of them. I guess technically it's a thing. Ew, gross. No, I think the only thing that bothers me besides the CGI goblins is this green-haired, I think she's an elf in the key art that looks like she's going to be like overly pervy obsessed. And those characters bug me. So we'll see. Like the overly doty, I want you, let me hug you a lot kind of characters. But no, interesting concept. I don't know. It's kind of one of those anime that I'm cautious about because it seems like it has a starting concept that seems kind of funny, but then I hope it has something beyond that. Like, here's the punchline. Yeah, we get the punchline. What next? Kind of thing. So we'll see. She professed herself the pupil of the wise man. So that makes me assume that his original avatar is still in that world, and it is deemed the wise man. Like, this is the all-powerful old man that he created before, and now he's in this young girl's body, and now he's like, no, that was, he can't say that was mine, but he does know everything about him technically because he did play him. So we'll see. Orient is our next one. Orient. This one is at the age of 10. Best friends Musashi and Kojiro sat in excited silence as Kojiro's father spun tales of evil demons who preyed upon the innocents and the warriors who defeated them. Practicing swordplay, the two swear an oath to become the strongest in the world. But as they grow up, Kojiro turns cynical, and Musashi becomes the... Sorry, I'm just getting shonen similarities here. It's throwing me off. Kojiro turns cynical, and Musashi becomes to the realization that he can't overturn 150 years of demons' rule on his own. He's being called a prodigy with a pickaxe, and he's almost ready to settle into a life of labor. Yet, he can't shake this feeling that he still has a responsibility to act, and soon, the injustice of his world will force his hand. The studio is ACGT, who has pretty much just done Freezing, Kino's Journey, and Initial D. The source is a manga. Genres are action fantasy. The director that's working on it is Tetsuya Yanagisawa, who did High School DxD. The creator of Orient itself is Shinobu Otaka, who did Magi and Sumomomo Momomo. And the interesting seiyus behind this one is Rie Takahashi will be in the cast, so that's exciting. So, Chris, you're a fan of Magi. Excited? You could definitely see the art style in there. You could definitely see Magi in there.
I'm curious about it. That's for sure. I agree. I'm getting a lot of shonen vibes from it. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. Because if it is another shonen, I'm definitely on board. I love my shonen shows.
There's quite a few in this season that I've seen where I'm like, oh, this is not that they're trying. Well, they're all trying to be the next big shonen, but they're definitely going for that feel. Like, this is going to be a big long epic that is built around the concept of being an ongoing series. So, but yeah, I sadly have not picked up Magi yet, as much as I really want to get around to doing that. So it'll be interesting to see, I guess, get a flavor of that writer in this particular series to see if it's going to be solid or not. But I'm typically bugged by here's the two guys that grew up together and one became bad and one it just says cynical. Doesn't mean necessarily that they're a bad guy. Just, it gives that flavor. But we'll see.
Yeah, to be clear, we're talking about the shonen epics as far as how this is feeling. There's a difference between, because 99% of all these shows are shonen, but there's a difference between the shonens and the shonen epics that we're talking about, like Bleach and Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff.
What the heck kind of weapon is that? She got like these weird, like,
I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's cool.
Punching
she's
things.
Actually,
but they look like chains at first.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. Morgana was the character in Magi. That
Yeah, she was like the reason I want to watch that show.
Yeah, Morgana was awesome. I loved her.
So there you go. That's the always fascinating thing. Is it? I don't know if it's an aspect of it kind of like the sports shows where you have like the all male cast, but then there's like the one girl that's like the manager or whatever that like somehow becomes like that one flower in the show that you pay attention to a lot. Like is it a contrast thing? Because that's similar to like a lot of shonens where you have like a lot of the main characters are male and then suddenly there's one female character and they turn out to be really awesome. Like the writer holds everything female development for that one girl. I don't know. It's weird. Anyways, Orient. Check that out if you're, again, probably looking for the next big epic. Like I said, there's 2 of them, so you can decide which one you want to invest into. But yeah. Moving on. We have Requiem of the Rose King, or Barao no Soretsu. This one is Richard. Wow, an easy name for once. Just Richard. Richard. Richardo. Yeah, it's got to be Richardo. Richardo. The ambitious third son of the House of York believes he is cursed, damned from birth to eternal darkness. Oh, this is getting so edge boy right now. But is it truly fate that sets him on the path to personal destruction, or his own tormented longings, based on the early drafts of Shakespeare Richard III? Aya Kono's dark fantasy finds the man who could be king, standing between worlds, between classes, between good and evil. Studios JC Staff. Again, who's done Toradora, Danmachi, Golden Time, and another show this season. The source is a manga. These genres are action, drama, supernatural. The series composition by Hiroki Uchida, who did Victoria Gamers, again, second show that they're doing this season. So, hopefully they're not stretched too thin, but what do you think? It's got feels of yaoi. I mean, just based on the key art and the premise of dark boy, edge boy, dark boy.
I'm not real sure. This is when we were answering a question of somebody. This is one of the ones that popped up. This one.
Revolution one?
Yeah, the colony, British colonies, and this one popped up, and I hadn't really heard a lot about it. I know that it's supposed to be based in the Rose Wars, which makes it very, very interesting because it's basically a kind of a Game of Thrones type. Game of Thrones was based on the Rose Wars. So that gives it a lot of interesting concepts to work with. Now, that is the reason why I'm very interested in it, because of the basically the Game of Thrones kind of concept. I love the idea of using the royalty to take over the kingdom and all that stuff. However, this doesn't really feel like that's going to be its main focus. It's talking about the spiritual side of things, the evil and the dark stuff. So yeah, I'm interested. Not sure that it's going to work really for me. So I'm definitely going to give it a shot though, because like I said, there's a lot of things that it has going for it that I'm excited about.
It is one of those things where, looking at the PV, the synopsis and everything, I think the key art may possibly be straying me. I don't know. There's a couple scenes in there that looks like it's going to point in that direction, but I have a feeling this is one of those ones where nothing's grabbing me, but I feel like I'm probably going to watch quite a bit of it because I feel like this, if anything, probably might catch me off guard. Like, there's got to be a reason why they're adapting this. And this is nothing to a lot of series, but unless there's some sort of trope in it that catches people's attention to sell it, there shouldn't be a reason why it should be adapted. Now, the trope in this could be the yaoi, and that would probably be the reason why it would be adapted. But there might be something in there that's more creative that will surprise me that I definitely want to not miss out on. So I'll definitely check it out, but at the same time, I'm going to hold my expectations because I don't know that it's going to be a show for me, but we'll see. Requiem of the Rose King. Check that out if that is interesting to you. Moving on to a show that we've been talking about to death on the podcast, because it seems like news announcements for it like every couple discussionals, but In the Land of Leadale, this one's finally coming out apparently. Leadale no Daichi Nite. This one, after being put on life support after a tragic accident, Kana Kagami's only freedom comes from the VR MMO RPG Leadale. One day on life support, system shuts down and Kana passes away. When she wakes, she finds herself in Leadale 200 years in the future as the high elf Kana. That with lost skills but incredible stats,
She lost her skills. Or...
It says with lost skills, so I'm wondering if that's one of those things of like, this is a skill that doesn't normally, it's like it's a discontinued spell that actually is really powerful if she figures out how to make it activate.
That's possible.
That's what came to my mind. So what was that show that did that, where he had like a whole bunch of these random like no-name skills and they did like incredible stuff? I think that was part of that one that was the dev one, actually, because it was like they were super overpowered. But anyways, but incredible stats. She must forge relationships with the residents of the New World, which shockingly includes the children characters she designed herself. A leisurely adventure tale is about to begin, featuring a girl transported into a game world and the smiles and tears she shares and her quirky companions. This one's being done by Maho Films. The source is a light novel. The genres are adventure fantasy. The director working on it is Yuji Yanase, who did Grace of the Gods, Smartphone, Himegoto, and if it's for my daughter, I would defeat even the Demon Lord or something like that. Series composition and script work by Kazuyuki Furuyasu, who did Black Clover, Slime, Monster Musume, Land of Lustrous, Journey of Lelena, and Is Yoda Rabbit. So definitely two solid people working on it. I mean, Yuji, very, very miss in my respect, but at the same time, has had a lot of experience with isekais. You could argue that they just have been given bad isekais to work on, but Grace of the Gods was really good, so that definitely has a promise. But yeah, series composition, definitely a solid writer there. So yeah, are you excited?
I am definitely excited.
We finally got our first real isekai in the list.
I love the concept of a
No, there's the second isekai. Sorry.
Basically, almost effectively an underdog getting a second chance at life. I love this concept of her being on life support, getting a second chance. And it's
Mother
not
Rosario, very much like Mother Rosario, the anime.
Exactly. And the funny thing is yes, I know that there's a lot of, this character getting hit by a truck coon and all that stuff. Our joke about that, but effectively this character technically didn't die and was playing a video game. This was her only connection to life, basically, is what this MMORPG was. And so her finally passing and then getting basically a second chance at life, really getting a second chance at life, that for whatever reason, it's really makes me excited about this. I just hope that level of kind of a cool idea doesn't completely fade away into the background.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's kind of like, I guess Mushoku Tensei-esque in the idea of how it deals with, not that I want her to be a pervert neat that goes into another world, but just that same concept of, here was my previous life where I technically didn't have anything because she was on life support. Don't know how much of a life she had before she was on life support, but not having that life and then having this opportunity to build that new life in a new world, I think will be good if it hits it on that in a very, personal level to help her character itself develop.
Yeah, that's the thing that we would hope is that there's like some kind of maybe she became cynical or something like that, something for her to grow from.
Yeah. Definitely interested. We'll see how it turns out. Definitely looks very gamey. I don't know if that's the problem, is like the PV itself. It's like, is this stuff from before or is this stuff after? How gamey is it when she actually is in there? But we'll see.
The dwarf is a it's blushing like crazy.
Is the dwarf a tsundere?
I don't know. He looks so goofy.
Back up. But yeah, in the Land of Leadale. Definitely, like I said before, we've technically been looking for this one for a long time. It doesn't look like the visuals are like high caliber, but it looks like it's doing a lot of action. So, despite being kind of more minimalistic, it looks good. So, yep. We'll see. Moving on. We have the Akebi's sailor uniform, or Akebi-chan no Serafuku. This one is Komichi Akebi, lives out in the countryside with her family. She's won entrance to the prestigious Rubai Academy Middle School for girls, and now wants only two things: to wear the school's uniform and to make 100 friends. Why is it 100? Why is this a thing in Japan? The whole concept of making 100 friends? Yeah. This is Cloverworks, another title for Cloverworks that they're doing, so this is number 2 of 3. Of course, Cloverworks done The Promised Neverland, Bunny Girl Senpai, Wonder Egg Priority, Horimiya, etc., etc. The source is a manga. The genres are slice of life. The creator is the person that did the art.
It is Super Cub. Oh my gosh.
The creator is the one that did the art for Super Cub. Didn't necessarily write the light novel, but they did art for it. Also did art for the Combat Butler light novel, as well as did a contribution to the K-On! Anthology comics. So pretty much just an artist, but this is, I guess, they're apparently their first real big manga that we're going to kind of take note of. So definitely looking forward to that aspect. But yeah, this one's, I think, the weirdest one out of all the shows, I think, in the list, because when I seen the PV for this a long time ago, and I totally thought it was just a commercial for uniforms. I literally thought it was a trailer for uniforms, because it was literally called, Akebi's sailor uniform. And it was all about how much she looks forward to wearing this uniform. I didn't actually know that it was going to be like a full-on show. But knowing that it's a full-on show and that it has seemingly a very simple concept has me excited. Now, granted, again, this is an artist that did work for Super Cub, not the writer. There is a feeling that there could be some inspiration there, or that they could have worked together, significantly enough that we might get a little bit of a feel of Super Cub in this. And if that's the case, I'm super excited. Like, this could be our next Super Cub. Again, not the writer, but the artist, but still, it could have that same similar feel to it. The PV looks really good. But again, Cloverworks working on 3 titles, and they typically make trailers look really good, so I hope that it actually holds up for the rest of the show. You excited?
Yeah, my first impressions was I was listening to Andrew do this or do the
blab on to say
the synopsis, and I'm sitting here watching the PV, and I'm just blown away by how gorgeous this show looks. And then all of a sudden my mind starts going up through this concept of, man, this is giving me some Super Cub vibes. And I'm sitting here just stuck on how...
she's too happy at the beginning.
Yeah, I'm sitting here going, man, this is like Super Cub, but for sailor uniforms? What the... All I'm hearing is sailor uniforms over here from Andrew. I'm watching this and I'm like, where is the Super Cub coming from? And then I look over at it and I see the art for Super Cub. That's why I said it is Super Cub. Not that it actually is Super Cub, but that Super Cub is involved in this. And it was like, now it all kind of connects. And that's the funny thing is, I don't want Super Cub to cloud this, but at the same time, I'm now very excited about the idea that we could have another one that just works on all those levels of, not necessarily that it has to do anything grand and super fantastic, but that just a simple concept and just a simple slice of life story just being told from this perspective of somebody who's excited about sailor uniforms, which I love it. I don't care. You want your sailor uniforms and you can tell me a great story around a character who just loves sailor uniforms, I'm all in.
I like that. Some people are like, what the hell is Super Cub? What the hell is Super Cub? Why do they keep talking about this Super Cub? Good. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, right.
You must have missed our last 50.
You must have missed a couple.
But no, I think one of the things that my immediate thought when you were talking earlier was that this is going to be Super Cub with Hitori with Bochi Des in it because she wants to make 100 friends. I'm assuming that she's going to be. Now, this is the question that I have because it doesn't necessarily say where this Robai Academy is, but it says it's a prestigious school, which typically means that it's in probably a more populated area. So my assumptions right now, based on just the key art, I'm curious if this will be one of those cases where you have a country bumpkin who goes into a decently populated area, is very excited to meet new friends, but she doesn't know. She gets a culture shock, basically. And I think I'm curious if that's where the direction it's going to go, where she realizes that, oh, nobody really wants to be my friend like I thought they would be. Like, she used to small town where everybody knows each other, and now she's in a big public school. So I'll be curious if that's the direction it's going. And if that's the case, it's probably going to be pretty heartbreaking. The PV that we have just really shows when she gets her sailor uniform and then she goes to school, but it doesn't show anything after that. So we'll be curious to see, I guess, just how dramatic it will be, or if it's just going to be strictly slice of life. So I'm excited for it. Definitely looking forward to it. I wonder if this will be not just because we've been keep talking about it, but I'm wondering if this will end up being the Super Cub of the season, in that we'll be the only one watching it and telling everybody to watch it. Like, I'm curious if it'll turn into that. We'll see, though. Akebi's sailor uniform. Looking forward to it.
Here comes Natsu.
Please, Cloverworks, don't die. Please don't die, Cloverworks.
Here comes Natsu.
Oh, Cloverworks. Don't overwork yourself. But yeah, I definitely thought the same thing. There's Natsu. There's Natsu right there. Not Natsu. He's the Rust Eater Bisco, or Sabi Kui Bisco. This one is the story is set in Japan that is ravaged by a plague-like rust, and details the journey of the strongest mushroom hunter, Bisco Akaboshi, a young Dr. Milo Neko Yanagi, and their search for legendary medicinal mushroom Sabi Kui, believed to be the cure for the rust. This is being done by Studio Oz, who's literally created for nothing, so I don't know. I couldn't find if it was a new studio based on another studio or what. But yeah, good luck, new studio. I'm always excited to see new studios pop up. Source is a light novel. The genres are action, adventure, fantasy. The series composition and script work being done by Sadayuki Murai, who did Cowboy Bebop, Perfect Blue, Natsumi Yuzincho, Millennium Actress, do I need to tell you more? Knights of Sidonia, Kino's Journey. It's kind of a well-known script writer and series composition writer. So that's big. We'll see. So, Chris, your thoughts on Not Fairy Tale?
I don't know. It in some cases it looks like him, in some cases it doesn't. So
yeah, it literally just the key art looks like him, I think, in my opinion.
So we'll see. Yeah, I mean, another shonen, totally. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. Hopefully, find another one that we can watch and enjoy.
Yeah, two things. I'm actually very surprised by the PV. It looks very bombastic. There is a lot of CGI in there, but I think they're blending it good, so it's not bothering me too much. But I'm very surprised by what it looks like, the quality they're getting with this studio. Again, I don't know. My assumption is this is probably a studio that was a branch off from another studio, because I think the quality of caliber. But again, you throw enough money at something, it's going to get huge, which definitely makes me think this is probably one of those. They want this to be the next big shonen because of just how much quality they're putting into it. But yeah, it seems like it's got a really solid. I've heard of Rust Eater Bisco before, so it does seem like it has a lot of like pedigree behind it. The only thing that I was on board until I seen the crab. What is the crab thing? Is that going to be like the big boss guy? Just rides around on a crab? But no, jokes aside, like I said, just based on the PV, it looks like they're just going all out with this show. It could be possible contender for another big shonen series, so that does have me excited for it. Hopefully it has a lot of content in there that it's interesting, because I mean, technically the big hooking point for these long-running shonens is having that really solid overarching story that you want to know more about, not just, the underdog getting stronger and stronger and stronger and beating the big bad that rides a crab. Plus, can we joked about the whole Natsu thing, but it's like, well, technically, can you acknowledge the fact that he eats rust, and what does Natsu do? He eats fire. It feels similar. Hopefully he doesn't get what's the rust thing? Ah, crap. You get a shot for it to prevent it from getting like lockjaw and stuff.
Oh, tetanus.
Tetanus, yeah. Hopefully he's got his tetanus shot. Okay, dumb joke. Sorry. Anyways, he is followed by a doctor, so there you go. Hopefully a solid cast too.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this one goes. So, yeah.
It's surprising. You would think with all these things that look very similar to Fairy Tail that it would be the Fairy Tail writer, but I don't think so. I don't think there's any ties to Fairy Tail. Yeah, that's not Fairy Tail writer. Shinji.
Well, I would think
Kubo. That's a very weird name.
Either the character art or the visuals would probably be where I would go as far as who's the one that's doing those designs.
Yeah, not Fairy Tail. Very interesting. Probably just inspired by it. So there you go. Rust Eater Bisco. Look forward to that if you're a big shonen person. Moving on, let's get into some mobile game adaptations. Gotta get some of those in here, right? We have Doll's Frontline. After the Third World War, nations devastated by biological warfare no longer have the ability to protect the wastelands. So, the defense of these territories is left to private military companies like Griffin and Krieger, whose android soldiers, or tactical dolls, are tasked with fighting the rogue android army of Sangvis Ferry. Now, M4A1, the indecisive but potentially capable leader of the elite anti-rain team, must protect her comrades in a series of operations to try and regain the upper hand against Sangvis Ferry. Long sentence. Studio is Asahi Production, who did Peach Boy Riverside, Himegoto, Wave, and Heaven's Design Team. Source is a game, like I said before. The genres are action, drama, sci-fi. The director working on it is Shigeru Ueda, who did Peach Boy Riverside and Geki Doll. Series composition by Hideyuki Kurata, who did Made in Abyss, Orimo, Grisaya, Kanagi, and Drifters.
So can we do this without acknowledging that we liked the game at one point at any point?
Did you?
Yeah, I liked the game. Oh. See, you tricked me into it. No, I liked the concept of the story. I love the character artwork. That is one thing that I do truly love about that game. But yeah, I am super excited about this because it had a pretty interesting concept going for it, and so having a adaptation of it. Now, the downside is adaptations never do justice to it. So let's hope for the best on this.
There's very few adaptations of mobile games that turned out really good. No, I think the only thing that bugs me is the PV gives me like super Lost Child vibes with the, I guess, more darker contrast of the visuals. I looked into it, nothing connects this to Lost Child, so that's just purely me gravitating towards that. But it looks like a very visually, good PV, so that gives it promise. But again, PVs are typically for advertising the show and have the best clips, but we'll see if that turns into a solid series. But yeah, the big question mark's going to come, does it have a good story to match tons of really good character designs, which obviously are built around gachas, or if it's just a bland mobile game adaptation. We'll see. The nun girl randomly in the middle of a bunch of battle war. We'll see. Doll's Frontline, if that's interesting to you, definitely check that out. But
Gun girls.
Let's move on to cute girls doing cute things. We got to have one, at least one. So I'm happy we have one. Our one is Slow Loop. When Hiyori, a young girl whose deceased father taught her the joys of fishing, headed out to the sea to some alone time, she never thought that she would encounter another girl there. After a while, this girl, named Koharu, and her end up fishing and cooking together, and they get to know each other a bit in the meantime. During their brief time together, Koharu finds out that the reason Hiyori went to the sea that day was because she was hesitant towards meeting her new stepfamily the same evening. But what a coincidence! What a coincidence! Koharu is also meeting her new family tonight. No, it can't be coincidence. You know where this is going. Follow these two sisters and their new life together. I knew exactly where that was going. Oh, that's cute. Studio is Connect, who did Strike the Blood, Death March, Seiyu Girl, Honor at Magic High School. The source is a manga. Genres are slice of life sports. And the director is Noriaki Akitaya, who did Cast on Dandelion, Active Raid, and Are You the Only One, which, again, is our second show for that particular director. And then our series composition is by Yuka Yamada, who did Miss Kobayashi Dragon Maid, Ahara Ride, Nanan Biori, and Wataten. So definitely has some pedigree and cute girls type shows. So everything, I think everything, production wise in the background for the show is definitely positive. I think the only thing that's kind of a question mark is the Studio Connect, but being that it's more of a relaxing cute girl show, it shouldn't have too much requirement for high animation or anything. So that's got it going for it. But yes, this is the one that we, for a bit of time in our discussional, was going, how is this connected to, what was it? Encouragement of Climb. It looks like Encouragement of Climb based on the key art, but definitely looks more just like a cute girls doing cute things thing.
Yeah, definitely a solid group doing that. That leads me to be a lot more excited about it. I do love the concept of just them going out and enjoying fishing. Hopefully it won't, while Breakwater did great, I'm not downplaying Breakwater. It was more focused on just the mundane aspects of it, while this hopefully will be more leaning on the character interactions and just them and their character growth, and which that hopefully is where they go with this one. So yeah, definitely excited about it.
That's kind of where I'm leaning as well. Just kind of breaking away from just the aspect of the fishing to more, I guess, somebody losing everything and then gaining something. You lose a family member and then you gain a family member. The elements of that inclusion might be where a lot of this, I guess hopefully not so heavy drama, but just some drama will be kind of in there. That character growth in accepting others, which I think will be awesome. Again, cute girls doing cute things is always a great thing, but then having this little element of new family might be a nice little heartwarming story. So,
and don't get me wrong, because it's not like the PV is implying that they're not going to be doing a lot of stuff involved in the actual fishing, because they're in a tackle shop. They're talking about their actual fishing. So yeah, it looks like they're going to have a lot of that in there, but hopefully it's not the main focus, and it just as a consequence is what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, this is the vehicle. Fishing is the vehicle. Yeah, looks great though. Slow Loop. Looking forward to that one. Our next one, our final of the three Cloverworks titles. This is the it's called Tokyo 24th Ward. This one, the Far Eastern Special Administration Region, also known as the 24th Ward, is a man-made island that sits in Tokyo Bay. Shuta, Ran, and Koki were born and raised on this island. Their family backgrounds, preferences, and personalities are completely different, but they are childhood friends who have always stuck together. However, one incident changes their relationship forever. A year afterward, the three friends are reunited by chance at a memorial service held for the incident. All three of their phones suddenly ring simultaneously. Their friend, who was supposed to be dead, is calling and demands they make a decision about the future. The three friends do what they believed is best to protect the 24th Ward and its inhabitants. It's interesting setup. Again, Cloverworks is working on it. The source is original. The director working on it is Naokatsu Suda, who did JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 1, 3 through 5, Planetarian. The writer is Vio Shimokura, who did the assistant writing for Steins Gate along with Naotaka Hayashi. So, interesting there. And the music will be done by Survive Said the Prophet. So that's good too. So, yeah. This is the big question mark. Again, because we've already established that Cloverworks is doing 3 titles, which is a lot of work for them. They technically did pull off Wonder Egg Priority and Promised Neverland at the same time, but yes, we did have issues with Promised Neverland, or not Promised Neverland. We had issues with Promised Neverland, but it was a writing issue, not necessarily a studio issue. The problem with Wonder Egg Priority was that they ran into production issues shortly later on, so I hope that they're doing a lot of work beforehand, so they're prepared for the season, but this is the one that kind of tips the scale over for me for Cloverworks. Like, I hope you guys can handle this much stuff. I hope we don't get another Wonder Egg Priority happening. But yes, obviously the big, I think, thing that is going to have a lot of people excited for this series is you have the director for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and technically the writer for Steins Gate. Again, now Taka Hayashi is, I think, typically credited for Steins Gate's writing, but Vio did help work on that. So that's another big plus for it, obviously, because Steins Gate is one of those, classic, very popular series that everybody beloves. So what is your thoughts on that kind of team put together for it?
A lot of over the top crazy stuff. I don't know. The artwork is just crazy. Some of the characters, I love them, and some of them is like, I don't know. But yeah, it's a really interesting mix, and the fact that it's an original, I'm very curious. I can't deny how very, very much I'm really, really wanting to see this and see where it goes, because this looks kind of over the top, and that I like that idea.
Yeah, I think I'm intrigued by it based on the team behind it. The PV doesn't really grab me. The character designs don't grab me at all. So it's not, by him saying kind of more over the top kind of character designs, it's not JoJo's. Don't misinterpret the fact that I'm saying director for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and now we're talking about the character designs, meaning that it's going to be JoJo's. The character designs are definitely nowhere in that same category as JoJo's. JoJo's is more kind of hyper detail, sometimes more masculine and over the top. This one's more, I would say, more plain, but they do some liberties with the hairs and stuff. I don't know. I'm kind of a mixed bag with the character designs themselves, but at the same time, I'm intrigued by the team behind it. The concept doesn't really have me grabbed, but definitely interested to see where this goes. I like I said, I'm kind of a big fan of Cloverworks recently, as much as they have a lot of issues with scheduling in their directing department. But I hope this works out for them, and it turns out to be a very unique original that definitely grabs me. But we'll see. Definitely curious for Tokyo 24th Ward. Moving on. We have our next Isekai. Here it is. Our next Isekai, Chris. Are you excited?
Yes.
and our next gender swap. Reincarnated as a pretty fantasy girl with a middle-aged guy. Or Fantasy Bishojo Juniku Oji-san to. A dull old man and his handsome best friend were summoned to another world by a naked goddess. However, because of the goddess's mischief, he has turned into a peerless, beautiful girl. To get back his body, he has to go on a journey with his best friend to defeat the Demon King, an old man that became a beautiful girl and a handsome old man. Let the madness-filled another world journey rom-com begin. The studio is OLM Team Yoshioka, who is not really the OLM, the team Yoshioka hasn't really been credited for anything, but OLM has done a lot of Pokemon, Odd Taxi, Komi-san, and Utawara Mono. The source is a manga. The genres are adventure, fantasy, comedy, and the interesting thing is the naked goddess is voiced by Rie Kajimiya, so that's a big plus for me. So yeah,
are we seeing the return
comedy? Isekai.
We seeing the return of Rie Kajimiya?
Well, she's always kind of just taking background roles, and it seems like all the roles that I've seen so far this season are kind of just background roles. But yeah, I'm always positive.
Well, we've had almost a drought of her for like several seasons, it seems. Yes, she's been here and there every once in a while, but it seems like she's been out for a while. Yeah,
she's either taking background roles or just working on Gintama.
True.
I think that's pretty much it. But I kind of assume that she's gotten to the point now where she's just more doing probably shows and stuff rather than doing anime voicing and stuff. But yeah, interesting, goofy concept. I to be honest, a lot of the isekai comedies for me lately have not been working out. So I'm all for another comedy-focused isekai that can pull it off. I think that's my big takeaway is I'm hoping this turns out to be a really solid comedy. Now, I'm very curious as to the element of the romance that they keep kind of referencing. I'm assuming based on the PV just now on the screen, just the element of his best friend liking his new avatar. It's going to be probably a lot of the comedy, but we'll see. I'm not sure why they call it a rom-com. I don't think that's going to be really romance.
Well, I'm wondering okay, I'm just throwing this out there as maybe a possibility that maybe for him to be overpowered, they have to do, because I see a lot of almost teasing things, like almost like they have to do this to make him more overpowered, because he turns around after one of these weird situations and he hits a monster and basically one-shots it. So it's one of those things of kind of like they have to tease each other to get that thing to happen. Then they acknowledge the fact that they're doing that with their best friend or something like that. So it's one of those weird. I know I'm reading into a lot of this stuff, but it looks fun.
I get that feeling as well. There seems to be a brief moment where it looks like the goddess casts something on the guy and he suddenly becomes charmed to his friend. So again, I think that's going to be a lot of the comedy, and I definitely look forward to that. I really do hope this is a solid concept. Again, my fear always comes in these things of where it's like hilarious for the first episode, and then beyond that, it just kind of falls off really quickly. So I have high hopes for it. I do hope it turns out to be really awesome. So we'll see. But yeah, looking forward to Rie Kajimiya too, as a mischievous goddess. Hopefully she's around a lot, just constantly playing tricks on them.
Definitely love the concept. Love it.
Again, that is reincarnated as a pretty fantasy girl with a middle-aged guy. Moving on. We have another show that we've talked about quite a bit in our discussionals. Police in a Pod, or Hakozume Koban Joshi no Gyakushu. This one, the female police officer Kawai had enough of a career she wasn't even that into and was about to hand in her resignation. I think that's what it's supposed to be. I guess it could be registration. When the unthinkable happens, she met the new female director of her station. And after spending a little time with this gorgeous role model, Kawai realizes that maybe she isn't quite done being an officer after all. Studio is Madhouse, the studio that, of course, that did Death Note, One Punch Man, Death Parade, No Game No Life, Overlord. The source is a manga. The genres are comedy, slice of life. So yeah, nothing really interesting team-wise behind it. So what do you think? I think we talked about this quite a bit. I don't like the art style. I don't
hate it. I don't know. It's the concept is interesting. I like the idea of a slice of life, of basically these. I'm assuming it says police in a pod, so it's one of those small police stations on the corner, and basically them doing just generalized, low key kind of police stuff, which I like that concept, and I hope that ends up being it. They're trying. It almost seems like they're playing it off as more. Some of it seems high action, but some of it just seems more lower key, just mundane police stuff, which that's what I'm hoping for. So, and then just the hilarity involved in that. So, high hopes.
Yes, that's my hope for it, is something like You're Under Arrest or something like that. Those older, there was a time where we got a lot of kind of police buddy comedy type shows, and like I said, You're Under Arrest was one of them. Dominion Tank Police, that kind of concept where it's just people doing. Well, technically, Dominion Tank Police was way more bombastic, but just the idea of the cops going out doing typical cop stuff, and then every now and then getting stuck in some crazy bombastic thing that ends up making their chief angry because, something got damaged and it's their fault. So I'll be interested in that. But like I said, I think the only thing that kind of has me a little bit negative is I don't really like the character designs that much, but we'll see. But yeah, it's kind of up there on my radar, but we'll see if it turns out to be solid something. Police in a Pod. Looking forward to that. All right, Chris, I know the sport that you've been waiting for an anime to be made out of is definitely futsal, right? You remember futsal, that big sport that you really love?
Yeah.
Yeah, futsal, that one. It's getting an anime adaptation. Anyways, the title is Futsal Boys. The franchise story is set in a world over a decade after futsal has skyrocketed in global popularity. Doubt it. Protagonist Haru Yamato. I know there's big futsal fans that are probably like, shut up. All two of you. Maybe one of you. Protagonist Haru watches the championship of the U18 World Cup and is inspired by a Japanese player named Kokinari Tennoji. He joins the Kyoyo Academy High School's futsal team with the goal of becoming a player like Tennoji. There, he finds friends. Shocking. And together they face rivals. Shocking. Studio is Dio Media, who did, of course, Domestic Girlfriend, Aho Girl, Honda-kun, Fuka, Squid Girl, and Kankali. The source is a multimedia project with a mobile game. Yay! Genres are sports. Writer is Shoji Yonimura, who did Pokemon, One Piece, Parasite the Maxim, and Shaman King, the new one, I think. And, Stereotype Foundation's going to make music for it, so that's good.
Is this soccer?
It's kind of like, it's like indoor soccer. It's kind of, I think it's a mix between, football, F-O-O-T, and soccer, or football, F-U-T. So like indoor soccer with I guess some football rules put into it. Western football. I don't know. I have zero expectations for this, honestly. I think partly because it's based on a mobile game, and second, it's Pretty Boys, and third, I don't know. I'm not too interested in either soccer or football nor futsal, so I don't know. We'll see.
It's got Stereotype Foundation.
Yeah, we'll definitely probably have the song in our music podcast episode, which, by the way, if you're just joining us and don't really listen too much to our stuff, we do a podcast on the best music of the season, so we'll definitely probably have Stereotype Foundation in it. So there you go. Futsal Boys. Check that out if you're into. I think it most generally probably sports fans are going to enjoy it either way. So there you go. Our next one, we have Tribe 9. Chris, try to guess who the character designer is while I do this. Haru Shirogane is a weak-minded person who is constantly bullied, while Taiga has traveled across the sea in hopes of becoming the strongest man in the world. One night, the two meet up with Shun Kamiya, the strongest XB, or extreme baseball player, and leader of the Minato tribe. When they meet, each of the tribes scattered throughout Neo-Tokyo are about to face a major threat. On the orders of King of the Neo-Tokyo, Houtenshin, the Chiyoda tribe, led by the mysterious Ojiro Otori, has started to take control of all the tribes in the country. Their evil clutches are about to reach the Minato tribe.
Yeah.
So did you guess?
Danganronpa. Yep.
It's so hard to see, I know. I just wanted you to focus on that because it's hard to catch. Anyways, the studio doing this is Leading Films. This is their second show for the season. Tokyo Revengers, Yamada the Seven Witches, Akashic Records, and Love and Lies is the stuff they've worked on in the past. The source is an original. The genres are sports. The series composition is being done by Michiko Yokote, who has done a ton of crap. Creator, of course, is Kazutaka Kodaka, who did Danganronpa and Kodama Drive. And original character design, of course, by Rui Komatsu Zaki, who did Danganronpa and Kodama Drive as well. So, yeah. So the next original work by the Danganronpa creator, which I specifically I haven't played Danganronpa personally. I think I got like 5 lines into the game. I have it bought. I just never got around to actually finishing it. I can't really say start it, because I only did like a couple lines. But I did give a shot to Kodama Drive, which again was by the creator and the character designer did it. And I really, really, really enjoyed it. It's one of my top favorite of last year. I think it was actually in my top 5. So I'm willing to give this one another shot. I can't say that I'm super excited for the concept, like some weird sport, but I don't know. We'll see if it turns out to, because Akadama Drive was more dark and this one looks more fun. But the Danganronpa creator is known for doing things that look not dark and then it ends up being dark anyways. So I don't know. I'm always mixed on his artwork as well, so that's another kind of mixed bag for me. And this one, Akadama Drive, try to keep it pretty consistent with the art style, where this one looks like it's more like Danganronpa, where everybody's kind of weird and different. So that clashing of art styles that the character designer is known for doing may be a bother for me this time around, but we'll see.
Well, the fun thing about it is when he does something, he goes all out. He just
a character based on their look.
Yeah,
they all look different.
Everything is so crazy, insane, over the top, and I love that. And I am actually really excited about this. I did drop off, if I remember right. I dropped off on Akudama. And when Andrew dragged me back in and I ended up finishing it, I ended up happy with its ending. So I'm going to try to not be as blah about this one.
Blah.
So, but yeah, I did, for the most part, I did like Danganronpa. And like I said, Akudama Drive, after all said and done, I did like it. So I'll try to be a little bit better about this one. So yeah.
All right. Tribe 9. Definitely an excited one for me. Moving on, we have Ryman's Club. This one is, the story centers around Mikoto Shiratori, a childhood prodigy at badminton, but who never recovered from a major loss. I'm like, somebody discovered him, like maybe an agent or something. But who never recovered from a major loss during high school competition. Sometimes those high school competitions, you fail them and it's just, you never get over it. Those high school competitions just get you. They eat at you and they never let you recover. Sorry. Now he works in the sales department of a Sunlight beverage company, playing badminton on the side. Studio is Leading Film. Again, this is their second one. And Tokyo Revengers, Yamada the Seven Witches, yada yada. The source is original. These genres are sports, work, and work life. The genres are sports and work life. The script is being done by Teruki Utsumi, who did script works for Sarazanmai. Obviously, most of the script work probably done by Ikuhara for that, but they did some work in there. So excited.
If he never recovered from it, why is he doing it on the side?
He never recovered from that competition. So he probably just doesn't like competition. I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, we talked about this one a bit as well on the podcast. It just kind of, this whole concept of working men that play badminton on the side. I don't know if they're going to get into, like, I guess, competitions with other businesses, or if they're actually going to get into pro stuff. I don't know. Typically, you have to have some sort of team that you're working with that's actually, signed in and everything, but who knows? So if you, I guess the question mark's going to be, and it's similar to most kind of sports animes, if it's going to be more about the characters and their work life and struggling with still keeping with competition, taking it serious or not, how much is it going to care to get into their actual work life, or it's just going to be strictly, I'm assuming it's going to probably be strictly the sport, and you're just going to have, every now and then somebody mentions, yeah, I'm working with this company, and so it's very stressful. It's probably going to be more about the badminton and probably his past. But it being original does lend itself to being completely up in the air. Curious as to if it'll be an interesting thing in that regard. I think I joked about before, though, we don't really have much to work with here besides the key art. And they don't look like they care to play. They all look mad. So I don't know if this is going to be like a bunch of grumpy work people just like, all right, let's play some badminton. I got to blow off some steam because work sucked. Or if they'll actually just be, maybe they're just going for the cool, handsome guy thing.
I don't know that badminton would be a great way of blowing off steam. So we'll see.
Are you saying that badminton players aren't very athletic? Jeez,
well, they're trying. It looks like they're trying to make it intense, and it's not really an intense.
It's super intense. What are you talking about? You can downplay a sport, you're gonna get in trouble. There you go. Ryman's club.
Well, obviously, I don't know the intricacies of such a sport.
I'm guessing it's probably Ryman Boo is the actual Japanese title. I don't know. Moving on. Another one that we've talked about quite a bit on the podcast. It's finally coming around. We have Kuroitsu-san from the Monsters Development Department, or Kaijin Kaihatsubu no Kuroitsu-san. This one is Kuroitsu-san, or Kuroitsu, is an assistant researcher in the Superhuman Research and Development Department of Agatsa, a villainous secret organization that battles with heroes who try to save the world. Kuroitsu lives a busy life in Agatsa, caught between the absurd requests of her boss, making presentations, implementing new features into superhumans, and getting results within allotted time, budget, and spec requests, all without vacation. And this one's being done by Studio Quad, who we don't really have much on, but hopefully they do a good job of it. The genres are comedy and fantasy. The director is Hisashi Saito, who did Haganai and Sister New Devil. Series composition by Katsuhiko Takayama, who did Future Diary, All Know Is Zero, Big Order, and Sagara Reset. So decent people working behind the scenes on this. Yeah, I think the only thing that bugs me is that the key art shows an underboob Neko girl, and I don't see that in any of the other artwork.
I think that's the one that's coming out of the pod.
Yeah, but she has like a regular outfit later, I think, which bugs me because it's like it's false advertisement. Because like they know that Andrew likes that particular thing. And then everything else shows. See, like there's the irregular outfit right there. That's where everywhere I see that outfit, but I don't ever see this outfit. So it bugs me that the key art shows a particular trait in this Neko girl that I particularly like, and everything else shows that she doesn't wear that outfit. So it's false advertisement.
Oh, I like the shorts, so
that too. That's fine. So your thoughts?
I love it. Love the concept. This one is I'm super excited about it. The idea of seeing things from the evil corporation side, going against I'm guessing they're Sentais. I hope that they toss in other heroes, but I'm not so bold as to expect all of that. I just love the idea of seeing it from the evil organization side, and that seems like fun.
Yeah, I think this is probably the one that I'm setting my expectation the lowest for, because typically this kind of concept starts out really good and then gets bland very quickly. Like my mind immediately goes to things like, Heaven's Design Team, and other shows like that, where it's either by the villain's perspective of flirting off the heroes, or it is the concept of just developing things and the different goofy mechanics they put into it, which are technically probably spoofs off of real stuff. Like, I'm sure they'll probably get into a lot of villain characters from Sentai's that they created, and this is how they actually came to making that particular type. Like, here's this quirk that this very famous one had, but we're going to put a little spin on it so that you kind of catch that reference, which technically for me, I'm probably going to miss most of those references, but we'll see. I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to set my expectations low because I have a feeling this is going to be one of those ones that's going to drop off really quickly, despite the fact that I think the concept is really great and it could be hilarious. So I'm gonna set my expectations. So yeah, Kuroitsu-san from the Monster Development Department. Check that out if that sounds good to you. Our next one we have is Q. C-U-E. Q. Like a cue card. It's based on the idol and voice actress training mobile game produced by Liber Entertainment and Pony Canyon. So that's the synopsis. Cool. Studio is Yumita Company and Graphinica. Yumita Company has done My Sweet Tyrant and Neo Angelic Abyss, and Graphinica has done Johnny Tyson, Hello World, and Record of Ragnarok. So there you go. Source is a game. The genres are music. The series composition is being done by Tatsuhiko Urahata, who did Monster, Gate, Hajime no Ippo, Cardcaptor Sakura, High Score Girl, and Hanasaki Roha. So I don't know what you did, Tatsuhiko, to deserve doing a mobile game, but please come back to all the amazing titles you've done in the past. I don't know. Maybe they're taking a break. We don't know. So this is a weird one. It's very much a weird one. I loved Seiyu Girls. Was it Seiyu Girls?
Yeah.
Seiyu Girls was really good. It was kind of this insight into the world of voice acting or actresses. So voice acting. But I don't know. I even though I like that concept and getting that insight into actual voice acting is cool, I hope that it translates to this being a solid story. Again, being based off a mobile game has a really heavy stigma there that I'm hoping it doesn't just rely purely on the idea of, here's these cute girls that you can roll for in the game. Now let's show you each one of them so you know when you need to roll. And more about probably the quirks, the issues they face, all the stuff that they normally go through in order to become voice actresses. That kind of stuff I think will be more interesting in the end. So it's got a really big cast, and I think that's my biggest thing that scares me for it. But I hope they pull it off. Technically, with shows, you do have a large cast to work with, so it makes perfect sense that they probably will, but we'll see if this one pulls off what Seiyu Girls did and has a solid little story behind it.
I really do kind of hate to admit that I'm actually very curious about this game.
Yeah, exactly. How do you play this? I'm assuming it's like one of those things where it's like probably a manager sim or something. Yeah, like
that's why I'm actually super excited or super interested in it. The idea of an kind of a
you send the girls a training, and it takes like 5 hours of real world time to do it, and then you have to let them recoup their energy, and then you have to buy them gifts to if it's kind of the because here it's kind of an idea. I have been very excited and tried a lot of the idle type games, because technically management type games should work for me, but the idle games never work quite the way I would hope that they would. I would be more interested in actual where you're actually managing these characters, and it tends to get into this weird where they're trying to which is not bad per se. I'm going into a kind of a random tangent right now, I know.
I just wish it was more into the management side of it, and unfortunately it doesn't quite work that well. So yeah, I'm kind of more curious about the game than I am the show. So I hope it could be good. I hope so.
Yeah, I think after Say You Girls, I really do have hopes for this, because I think I really do like that insight into the background of voice acting. So.
For sure.
And I think Say You Girl was the one that like brought in a whole bunch of really well-known voice actresses, which was kind of a cool thing as well.
Yeah.
I don't think this one's going to do that. Q. Check that out if that's interesting to you. The reason why I say it would probably not do like Say You Girls is because this is tied to an actual mobile game, and to include a lot of that stuff would be like a side thing that wouldn't be allowed technically in the actual mobile game. So
it definitely looks like it has a lot of stuff in there that you can actually see them actually in the booth, and they're actually doing a lot of that stuff. So that's one of the things that I'm super excited about the idea of.
Yeah, trying to encompass the character and stuff. Next one we have is Fantasia Sango, or Genso Sango Kushi Tengen Rei Shinki. This one's the story set in an ancient China during the Three Kingdoms era, when various powerful warlords began maneuvering to conquer the known realms. After it was wiped out in unforeseen circumstances, the 6th unit has been reestablished with members from diverse, troubled pasts. The leader and seal practitioner Oki, the spirit purifier Shunkyo, Tekken, and the demon slayer Shori. This one's being done by Studio Geek Toys. Of course, did Plunderer, Would You Love a Pervert, Rewrited, and Date a Bullet. So, rough studio. As much as I've tried to support them in the past, pretty rough studio. The genre is fantasy. The series composition being done by Masashi Suzuki, who did Isuka, Plunderer, Shuffle, Kiss Exis, and Seven Mortal Sins. So, some solid stuff behind that one. No PV or anything to go by, but there you go. I do know it's based on a PC role-playing game that I think has had like 6 parts, and it was been done by a Taiwanese developer, so probably explains why I've never heard of it before, but it's supposedly a very popular role-playing game for the PC, so I might look into it at some point.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, we don't really have much to go by.
Yeah.
Besides Three Kingdoms stuff, it's based on a role-playing game. I don't know if it's based on the 6th iteration of that role-playing game, but it's based on a role-playing game. So that has me... I think the idea of it being based on a role-playing game, that's something I kind of wish would be done more often, is what do you usually typically get out of especially like JRPGs, is a lot of story.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the difficulty that comes whenever they try to adapt that into an anime is that you have to cut a lot of that fat in the middle that develops the world that JRPGs really get heavy and stuck in. So it sucks that you don't see it more often. It used to see quite a bit of it. Like, I mean, they used to do a lot of adaptations for the Tales series and stuff, but you don't typically see that more now. Typically these days, the games that get adapted are mobile games, which sucks, but...
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to is just hitting the major story beats, which is good, but like Andrew was saying, a lot of the nuance, of the nuance and character development gets kind of lost to the wayside.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Some more Rust. Oh, again, that was Fantasia Sango. Again, moving more into some more Rusty stuff. We have Rusted Armors, so maybe the Rust Eater can come chill out with this person. Rusted Armors, or Sabiro no Armor Reime. This one is, oh my gosh, it's CGI.
A lot of CGI.
Oh my gosh, I seen it from the corner of my eye. I kind of assumed that based on the key art, kind of looked very, I guess, what would be the word? Flat looking? I don't know. Not flat like 2D flat, but like just no texture and stuff. Anyways, Rusted the anime adaptation of Rusted Armors, a multimedia project, first started with a stage play and manga adaptation. The project focuses on the relationship between a gun-toting Mago Ichi, who is the leader of the Saika Iki mercenary group and the Sengoku era warlord Oda Nobunaga. Of course. It's been a while since we've had an Oda Nobunaga. It's crazy. Yeah, studio is Kigumi, which, again, I don't really have anything on. It's probably just an up-and-coming CGI studio, which we talked about recently. Oh, that's probably going to be a thing eventually. Again, the source is a mixed media project with stage play and manga, and the genres are action. I'm gonna put an interesting bet out here. I don't think this is gonna get licensed. I just have a feeling this is not going to get licensed in the West. It may possibly get picked up by High Dive if they're just like, whatever, this is something to put on our streaming service. I don't think this is gonna get licensed. It doesn't look bad. Let me be honest. This is again, like Chris mentioned, this is a full CGI anime. It doesn't look bad. Yeah, it kind of looks bad. I don't know. I'm mixed. I'm in the middle area with it. It almost has a weirdness to it. A very, I guess, thinness to the facial shapes and stuff. I don't know.
I'm definitely not hot on it, but I'm not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I feel like Tesla notes here. I don't know. I'm trying to place where it kind of reminds me of CGI wise.
I was going with Berserk, but I've only seen a couple clips of that as well. So
X-Arm. Yeah, there you go. No. Yeah, this is probably gonna be one that a lot of people are probably not gonna want to bother with. We'll see though. Rusted Armors. If it gets licensed, it'll be the meme show of the season. Yep. This is why people have a stigma against like all CGI shows. That's the problem. Rusted Armors. Watch, it'll be like an incredible story, and then I'll have to be forced to watch it. Moving on to our last of the new shows for the season, we have probably the one that I'm probably the most excited for, honestly. This one is the Orbital Children Extraterrestrial Boys and Girls, or Chikyugai Shonen Shoujo. This one, the anime is set in 2045, where the internet and AI are commonplace even in space, and centers on a group of children stranded in space after a large-scale accident occurs in a space station. Long sentence. By using narrowband social networking and a drone that they can manipulate by smartphones and low-intelligent AI, they overcome many crises. This is, of course, the one that is by the creator and director Mitsuo Iso, who created Dino Coil. Also, he worked on Neo Genesis Evangelion, as well as key animation for a lot of big titles. But yeah, I think the big kind of grab here for me is, of course, its connection to Dino Coil. Now, here's the weird thing: when they talked about, when they had the actual, I think they actually said it right here in this particular trailer. They, the way that they put it, and this is probably a translation issue, the way they put it, this is in the universe of Dino Coil. And the trailer and stuff states that it takes place 15 years after Dino Coil. But based on the actual plot line for Dino Coil, which took place in 2026, it can't take place 15 years later, because that's not 15 years, that's 19 years. So I'm thinking they're just saying that this takes place 15 years, or it's created 15 years after Dino Coil was, which was, yes, 15 years ago. I still think they're insinuating that it's in the same universe or same world, just in the future later on. But I don't know if it's going to reference things that happen in Dino Coil or what. But the same creator, so I'm super excited for this. I loved Dino Coil, so I am super excited to see what this creator does with his world. And he has a really... The thing that I like so much about Dino Coil was that it's the type of future that I like. It's the believable future. Not too far out, not getting too crazy with technology. Just here's a little bit into the future and what we can possibly see in the future. The augmented reality concept is something that I can see being real. Like I can see, kids actually playing with these cool glasses that give you augmented reality or whatever. So he's really good at making grounded future. Now, granted, this is getting into space and stuff, so it might get crazy, but I have a lot of hope for this writer because of how well he does future technology. And at the same time, having heartfelt moments with characters and the developments they go through. So I love Denno Coil, so this one I'm super excited for. The only question mark I have is that it's being done by Studio Production plus H, and I really have seen nothing. I think they only have like one other thing, and I think I might have seen it on Netflix or something like that. But yeah, I'm super excited for this. Either way, it's going to be dropping all 6 episodes on Netflix on January 28th, so it's right around the corner. Your thoughts? Sorry.
I need to finish Denno Coil, so.
I thought you finished that. I thought you said you finished it.
I don't remember.
Don't remember.
I think that's what I end up saying.
I think we always talk
time.
about.
Yeah.
Every time we always talk about that. I don't know why I'm not playing this trailer. I just seen that opening segment and just stopped. So, yeah. Like I said, I'm super excited just for the creator behind it, and excited to see. I mean, even though I did have my statements about my question marks around production plus H, this is technically supposed to be a film. This is a film that will be hitting Japan theaters next year. And so it does technically have kind of a theatrical look to it visually. So that does kind of calm my fears there. They're doing, I think, 2 films, and then they're splitting those 2 films into 6 episodes that are just dropping all onto Netflix. So, yeah. One of the girls look like she's going to be an idol character. Totally going to have an idol, social media idol character. So you got that going for it.
I have always and will always love the idea of augmented reality. So I've followed a whole bunch of augmented reality companies, and so I can't. It's one of those things that I do have a lot of interest in.
I wonder if it's going to be one of those ones where it takes the characters and they are like caught up in social media and stuff like that, and they're going to be isolated with this whole thing and have to kind of stop looking at their phones and work together to kind of solve an issue. I kind of have a feeling that's just based on the 15 seconds we get from the trailer. I'm kind of getting that feels. But anyways, yeah. Like I said, I think this is, of everything for next season, this is the one I am the most excited about. I cannot wait for it. I love this creator's work, and the trailer looks fantastic. So, yeah. If you guys can tell, I'm excited for the Orbital Children, Extraterrestrial Boys and Girls. I think the title's stupid, but we'll go with it. Netflix, you got my attention. That's it. That's all for the new shows. We have a ton of returning shows to go through, so don't think this is over yet. Our first for our returning shows is obviously Attack on Titan Final Season Part 2. Are you excited, Chris?
Sure.
You still need to watch Part 1.
Yes.
I think we were talking about one of your live streams where you were at, and then I'm like, yeah, I think he stopped at the end of the third. It would be third season.
I stopped around. He
hasn't started final.
Yeah, I stopped around the same time. No, I take that back. I stopped earlier than I did in the manga. The manga I got a little bit farther.
Yeah, which, like I said, I think you reviewed with me the previous season, but you never started the final season because I so badly wanted to talk about things that happened in the final season Part 1, and he's not there. So, are you planning on actually getting caught up, or are you just done?
As it stands right now, probably not, because I am hearing a lot of, I'm not going to say negative, just more ambivalent as to how everybody seems to be feeling about the ending of the show. So
yeah, I think I'm in an area where when I was reading the manga, just to kind of finish it out because I was afraid of spoilers. Like, it was completing, so I'm like, I need to finish it just so that I can avoid spoilers because I know I'm going to see spoilers. So I finished the manga despite knowing that I probably wouldn't like reading the manga. I've never liked the manga, just so people know or are clear. I've always liked the adaptation because the adaptation cuts a lot of the fat. The writer has a habit of speaking in circles. The writer just gets way too long-winded with its conversations, and I felt like the anime condenses it properly. So this is one of those rare cases where I think the anime adaptation is better than the source material. And especially with the manga, it was very difficult to keep track of what the hell was happening in the later chapters. So I'm excited to see it anime adapted. That way I can probably get a sense of what the hell was happening. So the only big obvious question mark is, again, MAPPA is taking over for this final part. They did final season part 1, and they're going to do final season part 2. And they use a lot of CGI. Now, Wit Studio use CGI also, especially with the Colossal Titan. So I'm curious if I fully expect the later segments of the story is just going to be a bunch of CGI all over the place. And I'm curious how well they're going to balance that and if they'll do a proper job with it. But we'll have to wait and see. But I do hope that they knock it out of the park. And again, maybe do a better job of telling the ending part than I think the manga did. We'll see. Our next one we have for returning shows is Arifureta from Commonplace to World's Strongest, or Arifureta Shigokyo Yo de Sekai Saikyo second season. I know you're excited for this one. Did you finish the first season?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
Yeah, that's right, because we were laughing about the Dragon Girl. The Dragon Girl. Take it out. I have to transform back. Take it out. Oh, that was so wrong. Yeah, this is one of those ones where I tell people don't expect a lot getting into it, but I was pleasantly surprised by this series. I hated the start. I think the start is terrible. Especially because of the nasty CGI monsters and stuff they had in there. But this is technically one of those, you can kind of call it revenge isekais, but it's the concept of the main character is the outcast, and they just hate everybody. But then they get surrounded by tons of cute girls because isekai anime. And it was getting good. Like, it progressively gets better and better as it goes along. Again, don't get expectations high. I'm not claiming this is a fantastic show or anything, but it was entertaining where it was going and how it was kind of building characters. So, and it's got a great cast of girls around him too. So, I'm excited to see where it goes from here. They technically had the reunion, which is the big question mark that I think we had with the first season. They had a little bit of a reunion that happened. So I'm curious where it can go for. Was this the one that hinted that there was a hero? No, that was Demon Retry, wasn't it? We'll see.
Yeah, this is the one where it was the class kicked him out, and then they were coming together.
They literally
at the
kicked
end,
him off the side of the bridge to kill him. So it wasn't that they kicked him out. They literally tried to kill him, which is weird. But yeah, Arifureta, second season. Excited for that.
Well, some of the characters were not necessarily evil. It was just a specific one or two characters.
Yeah, two bully guys. Now, the other big, huge show that I am super, super excited about coming back is the case study of Vanitas Part 2, or second season. If you're on my anime list, for some reason they still list it as second season, I think. But yeah, I am super, super excited for Vanitas to come back. Obviously, the big thing that grabbed me at the end of the first season was that they introduced a new character at the very end, and it was voiced by Requiem. So yes, excited for that. There you go. I think that's going to probably be a pretty main crucial role for Requiem for once, is that she's going to be what seems like the main villainess. We don't really know for sure yet, but she seems like she's going to be a villainous character. But yeah, I loved Vanitas the first season. I think it's a fantastic series, and I am super excited for it to come back. So I definitely highly recommend people to check that out and get caught up before the second season comes in or part 2 comes in. So, do you think this is a show that you're going to get caught up on to watch part 2?
Probably not, unless you randomly decide that there was something super amazing that I would like that I would want to watch. So,
I just got done saying how amazing it is, and I think everybody should check it out. But yeah, there's technically no cute girls, so that's a big negative there. Requiem character might be a cute girl, though. We'll see, though. The case study. And it's not an isekai, so that's another thing that it has a negative going for Chris. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a difference. There's a difference between me saying a really good reason I should watch or a really good reason I should watch. There's a difference.
I know. I give up on trying to suggest stuff for Chris unless I just for sure know he's going to love it. I don't suggest it.
Pretty much.
There's one that's Chris going to be excited for. How I Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom Part 2. Yay.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this. They towards the end they introduced the kingdom that is holding the debt, and so we should be meeting that, and that should be going into some fun stuff to as far as exchanges. So I'm interested. I can't wait to see what they do with all that.
He paid off the debt. There's no debt.
I know the people who had the debt.
Had. You didn't say had.
I did.
They have the
I
debt.
did. You did not hear me.
I'm going to replay this back, and I'm going to hear the. I'm going to hear that the. I don't know. I didn't like the first season. There was some aspects in there that I did enjoy, like the conflicts that he had facing, issues with trying to help every part of his kingdom, but yet failing to because he doesn't know how to divvy any responsibility out, which I think is the sign of a bad leader. But everything else was kind of meh, and a lot of the animation got really rough towards the later parts. Oh, that whole war scene was like, ugh. But I do love the world building. It was funny because they had like every episode, they would have like these little like info dumps. Like every episode started out with like this huge information dump. Like, here's how all this stuff works in this kingdom. And then it goes to the show. And they were actually really intriguing insights into the kingdom. How the military set up in order to prevent basically a tyrant king. How they divvy out how there's different magics. How they divvy out different types of magic. All that stuff was really interesting. It was just like all these little things within there, like them doing the QVC infomercials was like really dumb. How many food segments they had, how they dealt with everything with food segments was the call out for the world's best was a huge letdown. Like there's so many cool things in the show, but at the same time, there's so many letdowns. So I might get like a couple episodes in this season just to see if it turns things around. And if it doesn't, I'll probably drop it, but I'm probably going to drop it. But that's how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom and made infomercials. Princess Connect Redive. Holy crap. I totally forgot this was coming. Princess Connect Redive Season 2. I loved the first season so much, and I cannot wait for a second season of this. I did not look this up. I should have looked this up, but tell us, Chris, are you excited for this while I look this up?
Heck yeah. I loved the first season of it. Just freaking adorable characters. Some of the fun interactions that they have. There was a few character moments that I did really enjoy in there. But mostly it was just cute girls doing cute things in a fantasy setting, and I loved it.
Yeah. So people know this is technically based on a mobile game. This is a Cygames mobile game, and Cygames Pictures, which is a animation studio they made specifically for Cygames properties, is the studio that did the first season, and they did an incredible job. I mean, this Cygames has a lot of money, and they dumped a lot of money in the first season. I hope that they retain that quality going into the second season, because it's literally like, hey, advertise our game, and basically your boss is the one that made the game. So they do like incredible jobs with the animation. There was so many Sakuga moments. It visually looked fantastic. The thing that I tell most people is don't look at this as a mobile game adaptation. It's going to be boring because it has the visuals to go with it. Plus the directing is by the guy that did Konosuba. And you feel Konosuba vibes when you watch the first season. And it's equally, I'm hoping, going to be the case with the second season because it's the same director. It has crazy animation. The comedy is hilarious. I could not stop laughing watching the first season. It was so good.
Isn't this the studio that they built for Rage of Bahamut?
No, they never. They didn't do Rage of Bahamut. They did the side one, the side story of Rage of Bahamut, but the original one was done by Mappa, I think.
That's right. That seems to be right.
So they did the side, not the second season of Rage of Bahamut. They did a side one, Minaria Friends, yeah. So they did Minaria Friends, Princess Connect Redive, and also Blade Runner, Blackout 2022. They did some incredible stuff. Like I said, I think that's because they throw a bunch of budget at it, but it's got the Konosuba vibes. They even had Aqua Face at some point with the cat girl. I love the cat girl. She's so great. I forget what her name is, Kiara or something like that. All the characters are so good. It's just a good cast of characters. And the main character was a dork. Like, he couldn't even talk. If you even call him the main character, he's just like this random dude that gets dropped in, and this Kokoro girl thinks that he's like this thing that God sent her. And so she's trying to take care of this holy thing he can't even talk. What he does talk, it's like usually like this very brief word or something like that. It was great.
I love Kokoro.
Yeah, Kokoro is adorable. Carol was best girl, I think. I mean, obviously, cat girl, best girl. Yeah, Eriko was weird. Like, she was the yandere character. And I typically don't like yandere characters, but they pulled her off so well. Like, she had this ring that she wanted to give him that, like, if you put the ring on, it's like it connects you forever. Yeah, this is like a case where you throw like a bunch of gacha characters at the screen and they're all fantastic. Wasn't there the group of lolly girls adventurers that they were helping at some point? They were fantastic. Yeah. So many good characters. It's such a great show. Definitely. Yeah, there was the one that was the magical girl that was like was she like an ox or something like that? And she transformed into a cute girl.
Yes.
Yeah, Lima. It was a llama. Yeah. Alpaca or whatever. Yeah, llama. Yeah, such a good show. Please go watch it. It's so hilarious. So Konosuba. So good. Anyways, gushing about Princess Connect Redive. Next one that is new. There's so many good shows coming back next season.
Was this the one that was supposed to be the ending?
I think the movie is supposed to be the ending. I don't know. They're doing a movie and a season 3. But yeah, Teasing Master Takagi-san is coming back. I cannot wait for it. Yeah. Third season. Like I said, they're doing a third season, which is going to be now. And I'm not sure when they're doing the movie. I know they said the movie's going to be in 2022. But yeah, I am kind of I'm wondering if this is the point where you're going to get that point where he starts realizing, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he continues to do push-ups. But yeah, the whole concept, for those that don't know, is essentially this girl loves teasing this guy that you obviously know that she likes. And he constantly thinks that she is doing it maliciously. And so he like constantly, like I mentioned before, every night he goes home and does push-ups for every time that she teased him. It's super cute. It's puppy love. It is puppy love at its best, and it's incredible. There's so many smiles and laughs this series, and I cannot wait for more. It's such a good show.
It is, honestly. I mean, by far, I have so much love for this show. It's hard not to overplay it. I've enjoyed its I don't want to say slow nature, but it is kind of a more chill aspect of just enjoying these two and their banter back and forth. I was just thinking about the idea of if this show, like Andrew was mentioning, that there might be a movie that they end up finishing the show. It actually kind of almost hurts in a way to see the show go. I want to see the natural ending of where this show will go, because we know that these two will eventually get together. But it's one of those things that it's like, I want to see that, and at the same time, I would hate to see the show go. It is such a fantastic story, and I love them to death.
You know what I'm not seeing in the trailer? And it's something that you did not like. I don't see the other girls.
They were in there.
In the trailer?
Yeah.
Really?
They were walking away from the screen at one point.
Oh, so that's their own. Hopefully that's their only cameo, and then you can be happy about that. Mm-hmm. Chris like got really bad about the other girls. I didn't care for much of them either. I mean, I did like Mono. I think she was the other girl that had somebody that she got with.
I don't know. I think I kind of grew on them, but I don't remember. I do seem to remember having a slight distaste for them.
Yeah. I mean, the obvious issue is that the two main characters, Takagi and Nishikata, are just absolutely fantastic. So every time they get pulled away from the screen, it kind of upsets you. Like, no matter what is provided, you're like, get back to Nishikata and Takagi. So, yeah, it's Teasing Girl done perfect. So I struggle with the idea of going, okay, if you like, Miss Ueno, not Miss Ueno, well, technically Miss Ueno as well, but if you like these other teasing girls like Nagatoro and stuff, go check out this. But this is a different type. This is, again, like I said, puppy love. And it's strictly that. It's not ecchi. It's not going for, pervy waifu stuff. This is puppy love, and it's just so adorable. So, yeah. anyways, we're just basically doing a mini review of the series, so let's move on. Oh, yay, Chris, are you excited? We have more Irregular at Magic High. We have the Irregular at Magic High School Reminiscence arc, or Mahoka Kyokyo no Raitetsu Sui Oku Hen. The synopsis says, looking at Miyuki and Tatsuya now, it might be hard to imagine them as anything but loving siblings. That's being very light there. But it wasn't always that way. 3 years ago, Miyuki was always uncomfortable around her older brother. The rest of the family treated him no better than a lowly servant, even though he was the perfect guardian, watching over Miyuki while she lived a normal middle school life. But what really bothered her was that he will never show any emotions or thoughts of his own. However, when danger comes calling for a fateful trip to Okinawa, their relationship as brother and sister will change forever. Yeah, she'll become obsessed with him. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming that's where it started. They did something. But yeah, it's based on a light novel for, again, the Irregular Magic High. So
I wonder who. Is this written by the original writer?
I think so, because I think I heard about this when we were watching the original series, that people were talking about wanting to have this adapted or something like that. Because I know that my biggest issue I've always had with the series is I really don't like Miyuki, because she's just it's that getting too far into the realm of obsessive to the point where it's just her entire character, and it kind of bugs me in the idea of a character being that obsessed. But yeah, it's based on the original light novel. It's just covering that specific arc.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'll probably check it out. Hopefully it's got a solid story there to really kind of explain things, but yeah. Technically, I'm invested in the series at this point. I might as well. I rewatched the original series just to watch the new series. I didn't watch the spinoff, but that's a spinoff manga based on it, so.
Hey, I personally like the Miyuki, so the spinoff worked great for me.
Next one we have is Saiyuuki Reload Zeroin. This is going to be an adaptation of the Even a Worm story arc for Saiyuuki Reload. This is a show or a series that just never seems to go away. So I'm assuming there's a huge fandom for Saiyuuki Reload. So I have nothing on this. So there you go. For our shorts, we have 2 shorts. The first one is Irodorimidori. I have no synopsis or anything, but it's by Studio Akatsuki. I have no information about Studio Akatsuki. It's a multimedia project, and the genres are music, so I guess be excited for that. I don't have anything for it. The characters look cute, so there you go. I couldn't even find out if it was a mixed media project as in a mobile game, or if it's a mixed media project for maybe music or something, or maybe a band.
It's a K-On! Group.
Well, yeah. Technically, they're a band and they're in the school, so that just makes sense. That's K-On!
Well, K-On! Light music,
right? So there you go. Yeah, it's like they're doing music and stuff. They're on Apple Music. So there you go. Band and anime, I guess. All right, and our second of the shorts is the Kodama's Lazy Life. This is so funny because this is the title. The English title is the Kodama's Lazy Life. The Japanese title is Atasha Kawajiri Kodama da Yo Dangerous Life Hacker no Tadareta Seikatsu. That definitely translates to the Kodama's Lazy Life. There's something in there about being a life hacker, so they're probably like hacking to make things easier, like life hacks. Anyways, the story depicts the lazy, unhealthy daily life of Kawajiri, who loves alcohol and anything greasy, salty, and sweet. Being done by Studio Lapin Tracks, sources of web manga, and the genres are comedy. So, I don't know, I guess Umaru-chan, maybe this is Umaru-chan as an adult, I guess, is what they're going for, maybe?
Don't know. Haven't the slightest clue.
Grown up. I wonder if there's like a full translation of that. Like I said, it's obviously has life hack in there, so I'm sure that's part of the title. Did anyone translate it there?
Yeah, it does look like it's got the shell there too. I was getting ready to say it looks almost like a kappa. That's
true with the head. I've seen that thing on the head. That makes sense. I don't know. I doubt it's going to get licensed. It looks very low quality, so I'm assuming it's just going to be something that we'll never see over the West. So yeah, that's it for all the shows. We do have some continuing shows from fall, which include Platinum In, which will go 24 episodes. Ranking of Kings, thank goodness, will go for 23 episodes. Yasahime is still going for 24 episodes. Lupin Third Part 6 is going for 25 episodes. Amaim Warrior at the Borderline will go for 25. Demon Slayer is now starting its Entertainment District arc. We're 2 episodes into it. It's going to go for 11 episodes for that particular arc.
Oh, God, I got to get caught up on that show.
And you have 2 full episodes to get caught up on. Why is that bother to you? You watched the movie, didn't you?
Yeah.
So yeah, you only have 2 episodes to watch. Well, technically 3 if you didn't watch that first episode, which was prequel for the movie. Anyways. And also Ancient Girls Frames is going for 24 episodes. So there you go. And yeah, that leaves us with just kind of ONAs, movies, and OVAs that are around the corner, which I think the biggest ones that obviously most people are going to be excited for is Fruits Basket's Prelude. They're going to have that airing in Japan, or at least in theaters, on February 18th. And we also, and I'm not sure if we had any kind of, I'm sure Funimation will probably pick it up and do theatrical release of it, but hopefully they'll do streaming as well. And obviously the other big, huge one for us and many other people is Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation, technically 16.5, which essentially is a side story of what happens with Eris during episode 16, when we're basically following Rudy in that particular episode. The Goblin Sting, which I think is supposed to be releasing on the Blu-ray on March 16th in Japan. So hopefully Funimation will pick up on that quickly and just, let us stream it over here. Or maybe they're holding out for that before they do a Blu-ray release. I don't know. I know we haven't had, I had 0 information on a Blu-ray for that series. So yeah, they're apparently doing another Girl on the Other Side. So that's interesting. Another OVA for that, which Studio does. Apparently a unaired Blu-ray release or unaired episode for is Kobayashi Dragon Maid S. That's releasing with the manga apparently. So, volume 5, volume S. I don't know, a manga or something. So, yeah, there you go. That is the winter 2022 season. Exciting stuff. I think a big portion for me is definitely getting a lot of those returning shows, which I'm super excited for. So, Chris, while Andrew, like he typically does after the fact, puts together his list of most exciting new shows. We don't do sequel shows because obviously if we did, like, what are our most excited for shows, and we included returning shows, most of it's going to end up being returning shows. So, with that said, what is your
Well, I was gonna go over the main list a second time while you were scanning through everything, but I have down World's End Harem. Dress Up Darling is easily my most anticipated. I really, really, really want to watch that show. Land of Leadale, Akebi's Sailor Uniform, and Monster Dev Department. I definitely want to see that one as well.
Man, I scrolled through and I only managed to put 3 on my list. Of course, I did kind of skip a couple that I was kind of looking at. See, I don't know. I'm so mixed on Tribe 9. Like I said, I loved Akudama Drive, but I'm getting that Danganronpa vibes back with the character designs, and I'm not sure. I know that's going to be a sticking point for me. Because when that artist gets too heavy on his wacky out of the norm type of art style, it bugs me. So that's gonna be a big question mark for me. What's gonna get my last slot? I almost want to do Reincarnated as a Pretty Fantasy Girl, but like I said, I'm really not sure about if that's gonna be able to hold my attention for the entire thing.
Yeah, I guess I didn't miss that many, so yeah. Because my last one is near the bottom of the list.
I'm stuck between Reincarnated as a pretty girl, Rust Eater Bisco. I almost want to say Rust Eater Bisco because it looks like it's the Is that the one that was like, yeah, that was the crazy animation one. I'm really curious if that's going to be the next big shonen.
Yeah, I would be, if anything, I would be flopping back and forth between the Reincarnated as a Pretty Girl or Land of Leadale. Both of those are about the same for me. I do like a lot of the more slice of life, like the Police in the Pod, the slow loop. Those ones are kind of I'm wanting to get into those really bad as well.
Yeah, the top three that I have are like solidified. Like I'm definitely the most excited for those. It's those last two. I'm not sure what I want to fit in there. But yeah, my dress up darling is definitely a big excitement for me. Akebi's sailor uniform, like I said, I think I have so much Super Cub vibes that I'm really excited for that one. I think that's probably going to be the sleeper hit of the season if it does do some really good stuff. And the Orbital Children, I think, is going to probably I'm already expecting Orbital Children might be my favorite of the season already as it stands now. So I guess I'm going to do Tribe 9. Like I said, I really loved Akudama Drive, so I'm hoping the Danganronpa Rider has another solid series in there. Again, it's more sports related, so that might be a negative for me. But my last one, I'm stuck between Love of Kill and Reincarnated as a Pretty Fantasy Girl. I might just do Love of Kill. Because like I said, I think Reincarnated as a Pretty Fantasy Girl is going to be probably really hilarious, but I want to set my expectations that I might end up dropping off on it like I usually do with those. It's like, will it be Fruit of Evolution, or it completely... Well, Fruit of Evolution didn't really start out great either, so... One of those great comedies that starts out really great with first episode and then falls off, or will it be a Konosuba, where it's a comedy isekai that just keeps hitting? We'll see. Yeah, we'll do Love of Kill for... No, I'm gonna do the crazy thing. I'm gonna put Reincarnated as a Pretty Girl. So yeah, my dress up darling, Akebi's sailor uniform, the Orbital Children, Tribe 9, and Reincarnated as a Pretty Fantasy Girl.
I have this scary thought that Andrew just killed that show for me.
What?
You've chosen that one, so therefore it's going to not be funny.
Just to make Andrew answer. Yes. Place in the Pod, I'm still excited for. Tokyo 24th Ward, I'm interested in. Slow Loop, obviously. Slow Loop, I think, might end up being the sugar store of the season if Akebi's sailor uniform doesn't. If Akebi's sailor uniform turns like super heavy drama, then Slow Loop will be my sugar show of the season. If not, I'll have two sugar shows of the season. But I think I'm curious if Land of Leadale. I'm curious if the trailer for Land of Leadale was pretty heavy action. I was curious if that would be more
comedy than anything.
I don't know. It looked, I guess, yeah, mixture of comedy. But I was kind of curious if it's ended up being one of those things where it's like the Yashike type. But I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think
it looks Yashike. It looks very loud. Very comedy and action,
and that's what I'm kind of hoping for. I really do want them to hit on that on the things that we were talking about, but I really just want it to be something of a coming out of a bad situation and then slowly grow with that comedy involved.
Yeah,
accepting life for what it is.
I think for the returning, it's definitely Takagi-san, Princess Connect. See, this is why we say we don't do returning shows. Mm-hmm. Takagi-san, Princess Connect Redive, Vanitas. I guess the rest aren't really in there, but that's at least 3 that are going to be completely just swamping my brain. Like I said, I'm really excited to see where Arifureta goes.
It's an exciting season, no matter how you look at it. There's plenty of stuff that I am definitely excited about.
Well, that's the thing, is being excited for something before it even... Obviously, every season we're excited about what's coming around the corner, but one that you kind of really do know what your expectations are for quite a bit of it. So that's obviously a nice plus for it. So yeah, definitely excited for it. Hope you guys enjoyed this run-through of the Winter 2022 season. I think I gave a shout out this season, but I think a lot of people were like, I'm not even keeping track of what's coming around the corner. like so many people aren't really keeping a track of what's coming around the corner for the next season, which I guess is technically what we do here. We did get one reply which says, John the Black Wolf said that he's looking forward to the most My Dress Up Darling, Police in a Pod, Sasaki and Miyano, Akebi's Sailor Uniform, and Rust Eater Bisco, as well as sequels, Arifureta Season 2, Vanitas. Thank you! Vanitas Season 2, Attack on Season Final, Part 2, obviously, is a must-watch, and most likely will give every new isekai a try. So
somebody of good taste. Because,
yeah. What do we end up coming out with at the end? Because it usually changes when I read the synopsis that it's not an isekai. We have 1, 2, 3 isekais. Only 3 new isekais. We have Arifureta coming back, which was another, and then How Realist Hero. But technically, yeah, so only 3 new ones, 5 total if you include the returning. That's not that big. That's not that huge of isekai season. So, yeah, all the not naming names complaining about isekais is not that many. Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 36 shows. It's not that bad.
No.
Yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this.
The problem is you just don't understand how many true isekais there is. We dropped off like 3 of them. So
technically, World End Harem is an isekai. Obviously, Genius Prince's Guide to the Nation is going to be an isekai in the end. I'm betting you most people will see The Strongest Sage, The Weakest Crest as an isekai, even though it's not, because they won't even watch it to find out if it is. I'm sure they think Orient's an isekai as well. What else can we... Rust Eater Bisco is obviously an isekai.
You just have to, ham-fistedly shove it in there so that you...
Somebody has magic. Isekai. Obviously, Kuroitsu's Monster Development Department's obviously an isekai as well, because he's going to isekai in monsters. But again, they won't watch it to find out if it's an isekai or not. Fantasia Sango is definitely isekai. Yeah, so we're
and then Orbital Children, they are an isekai. They were from the world, and then they went into outer space. They are technically isekai.
Mm-hmm. Attack on Titan's definitely an isekai. I like that one scene in Teasing Master Takagi-san when they did isekai too. That was an interesting one too. Saiyuuki Reload's definitely isekai. And yeah, definitely the lazy life of Kodama is isekai.
It's a
putting as much stuff into the inner belly of another world as possible. Yasahime is technically based on a isekai type show, so there you go. I'm stretching here. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this run through of this season, and definitely let us know in the comments down below and for our YouTube channel if you're watching us there what you're most excited for, or just send us some comments. You can email. It's a contact us button at otakuspirit.com.
Ask us questions. We need more.
Test our contact system over there. We get a lot of spam, so I think something's broken. But yeah, thank you everybody for listening and watching, whatever you're doing, and y'all take care.
Os.